Tennis 605 here with Mark Vellek with the head tennis pro at Great Life Wood Lake. Thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You know, you've been around as a tennis pro for quite a while now. We're here at the State Boys tournament. What do you think of the action you're seeing going on here?
It's an exciting time of year. Played for Washington growing up, so I get to come back and see a lot of guys that I played against, a lot of the same coaches, Don Barnes, Jason Olson. It's a lot of the familiar faces that we get to sit around and share old stories. So it's a fun time of year. It's one of the biggest tournaments of the year for our kids that they train for all year. So here's to see all their hard work at work.
You know, we had Coach Barnes on this week on the courts here for this week's show, and I loved having him because, you know, he's an old school guy and I'm an old school guy, and it's great getting together with guys that still talk like that.
Yeah, it is. And tennis, you know, there's the different teams, but everybody, it's a pretty tight-knit community. All the kids on different teams, they hit together all winter, all summer. They travel to other tournaments together. So, yeah, there's the team aspect, but it's a big group of guys that are all good friends, whether it's the coaches or the players. It's a fun group to be a part of.
So, you know, you like you said, you grew up in Sioux Falls, played your tennis for Washington. Tell us a little bit more about your tennis background.
Yeah, I played 6 years at Washington High for Matt Johnson there. We won state championships in 2000 and 2001. It kind of came up at an unfortunate time. I didn't get the singles championship. I played at the same time as Tyler Steinley from Sturgis, so he got me 3 years in a row to win his fourth straight state championships. That was a little tough, but played collegiately at Bloomsburg University in Pennsylvania. Was on teams that went to the quarterfinals of the Division II National Championships. So played high school, played collegiately, got out of tennis for a couple years, and then missed playing. Wanted to get into coaching, so I came back.
So you must have come back with a vengeance. I mean, not everybody you run across can be a tennis pro, and you know, that is a very involved process getting to that point.
It is. There's a lot that goes into it. Patience, one of the big things that goes into it. You know, you work hard, and it's fun when you're around the kids every week. We're around the kids. A lot of these top players, you know, we're working with them 3, 4, 5 days a week. And when you're together that much, you don't see the improvement in short term, but I like to step back and look 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and that's where the state tournament's a good reminder, where you look at where were they 12 months ago, and it's pretty impressive how far those young kids come in just 1 year.
You know, we've interviewed a lot of players here at this tournament, and one of the things that's very consistent in what they're talking about in terms of necessary equipment to be a good tennis player, almost every single one of them says that mental toughness is at the top of the pyramid.
Tennis takes a special kid, a special person to be able to go out there by yourself. Every point is on you. Every mistake is on you. Maybe because your opponent's playing real well, but you can take it very personal. Losses can be very personal. So it takes a special kid, a special personality to be able to deal with the highs and lows of going out there by yourself. High school season is nice because it is the one time a year where does become somewhat of a team sport. So then you do have your teammates there, but it's not easy to ask kids that are, you know, 12, 13, 14, 15, even 18 years old to be able to go out in front of a bunch of people and be out there by yourself. It takes something special.
You know, talking to some of the coaches this week there, we were talking about some of the real young players that we're seeing here, and you know, sometimes those youngins just step up and they just go out and play tennis. They don't burden themselves with a bunch of other stuff. They just step up and play, but then, you know, once they start winning and the pressure gets on them, that's probably when all the pressure comes.
Yeah, and we got a lot of young kids in Sioux Falls, especially with the boys right now. It's been like that for a couple of years, where you look at the varsity teams the last few years. I mean, they've basically been half middle school teams, and these guys are just getting, you know, 8th, 9th graders, sophomores, so they're pretty young teams. I know O'Gorman's not going to lose anybody after this year. Washington loses a couple, and Lincoln loses a couple, but these are really young teams, and there's more middle schoolers coming up that are younger, that are really good, that will feed into those programs. So the youth of the game in Sioux Falls is really good, and as those kids come along and get a little bit older, I know you look at a couple of these teams out here a little bit older, a little more physical, but there's some pretty good young, smaller tennis players coming in Sioux Falls that we're excited about.
I'm going to switch gears on you here for just a second and talk a little bit about Great Life. You know, we're starting to see those signs not all over town, but all over kind of the region, and you know, there looks to me like seriously becoming one of the leaders in athletics in the area.
It's been a crazy year, and I can't be surprised, because the first time I met Tom Walsh, he sat us down and he said, "Strap in, boys, we're taking off." And He wasn't kidding. I mean, it's unbelievable what he's been able to do in a short amount of time. I think we're up to 17 golf courses, about 8 fitness centers. Amazing the improvements that he's made at our club at Wood Lake, doing a $7 million addition and renovation, and we resurfaced the tennis courts, got brand new state-of-the-art lighting in there, the same that they have at the Baseline Tennis Center at the University of Minnesota. So it's crazy what he's done, and he doesn't slow down. He just keeps going and going, and the cool thing is that he's such a good guy, and the mission, it's truly, everybody asks, what's the catch, what's the deal behind this? I mean, it's truly what he says it is. It's what our mission is, and he just wants to impact individuals and families, especially kids, to be more active and live healthier lifestyles through whether it's golf, whether it's tennis, fitness, whatever. That's truly what it's all about, and that's what's driving him. He's got a number of grandkids, and that's a huge inspiration behind what he's doing. But his inspiration wears off on us, and that's our inspiration. And so, the more, from my seat, the more we can expose young kids to the game and use tennis to help kids be healthier and more active is fantastic. So we just love everything that he's doing.
Well, Tom Walsh, I mean, if you had to break it down to describe him in one word, I think builder would be definitely on the plate as one of the leading, at least, adjectives to describe him by.
Yeah, I mean, the energy and how he cares for people, not just through his mission of helping individuals and families and kids, but that he shows us and the support that he gives us, whether it's upgrades to facilities or he's always very positive, very supportive, and that rubs off on everybody. And everybody loves coming to work, and we've got a good team environment with great life, and it all started with Tom. He's the one that started the thing. It was his idea, and he's got the passion to keep it going, and we just feed off it.
You, with school being out, I bet you're probably gearing up to have some camps and academies and that sort of stuff going on. Why don't you tell us what you got going on this summer, at least from the tennis perspective?
Yeah, we actually run a 12-month tennis academy. We kind of break it down into sessions that's kind of based around the school schedule and the high school season schedule. So we have a fall session, a winter session, a spring, and a summer. We don't take any breaks. Summer session starts Tuesday, the 26th, right after Memorial Day. So, and it's important to do that because state tournament's not the end of the season. It's just the start. They enter their tournament season now, and there's a big tournament in Sioux Falls already again next weekend with the US4 Clayton South Dakota Open. So get right back to work and get working for that. We do a lot of private lessons individually with the kids. So we work with a number of the kids out here. We run leagues. We have our junior team tennis program that we've been fortunate enough to have a lot of success with in the summer, having all these good kids. And that's a neat thing where we can pull the kids from all the high school teams together and put them on different teams, so they're no longer on separate teams. They get to play with their friends and come together and go up to Minneapolis and see how we can do against the rest of the section. So we go year-round. We don't slow down. There's no time of the year that we're slow.
That combining all these players, you can really see that out here, where the kids from different schools are hanging together and joking around and shoving each other around and stuff, just like their teammates.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the tennis family, it's very tight-knit, and, I was just looking over there, and you see all the O'Gorman and Washington, Lincoln guys, they're all sitting on the same benches hanging out, and when they get on the court, it's time to, we're going to put this, we're not going to be buddies for the next hour or so, but we're going to get after it and get after each other, and that's good. That's sports, that's competition, but when they're off the court, they have a lot of respect for each other because they train together so much and they play each other so much that all of our kids respect each other a lot and get along real well off the court.
If we have somebody out there who, just say that you got a parent who's thinking about trying to get their children involved in tennis and get them started the right way, what are a couple of things that you think they ought to do to get them started properly?
Well, one of the great things now, I think I saw you were talking to Pat Colbert from USA Northern about it yesterday, but with all these new transition balls, it's so easy to get people involved. Even with adults, you can start with the orange ball or the green ball, and they can have success right away. I think it's still, we're young in the process. It hasn't been going on for a number of years, so time will tell how much it develops players later on. But certainly for starting players out and getting them playing and being successful and having fun early, the transition balls have been a huge change to the game, and the USA numbers prove that participation across the country is up a lot, and it's all because of those balls, and people can play and be successful early.
One thing, from my coaching of 2.5 decades, one thing, that I always tried to focus on too is start out showing them the right way to do stuff so their technique is good from the start. Pretty easy to teach them when they're 10 or 9, but almost impossible when they're 15. So how do you go about that in tennis?
Well, you want to start with proper grips, teach them how to hold the racket with each stroke, and start short backswings, start everything short just to get them. I always say your first goal is to be consistent. Once you're consistent, then your next goal is to be able to control the ball, move the ball around the court. Once you can do that, now you want to learn all the different spins, the top spin, the slice, maybe with the serves, a kick serve or something. Learn the spins. Fourth, hitting the ball with better depth. And then fifth, which unfortunately many people that don't get instruction they put first, is power comes last. And if they can understand that, that's kind of the progression we go to is consistency, control, spins, depth, power, in that order. So if they follow that, they pick it up pretty quick. I always warn, especially the adult players when they start, I always warn them their first lesson. This becomes very addicting, and it's fun to see the adults start and how much they love it, how much they play, and even as adults, how quickly they improve when they pick it up.
Well, obviously, a lifetime sport, that is something that people can actually have their love for the sport grow over their lifetime.
Yeah, and it's neat being out here. A lot of the parents or adults that we have at the club that played, they started playing because their kids liked it. And so they wanted to learn how to play so they could take their kids out, or maybe they just wanted to understand the game better, what they were watching. So we got a lot of adults that started basically through their kids. We have kids that started because of their parents, but we also have parents that started because of their kids. So it's pretty neat how it's really a family sport. A lot of the families, you very often see one tennis player in a family. That's very seldom. Usually it's a family of tennis players.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to let you get over here and enjoy the rest of the tournament here, but really do appreciate the time you've taken. And I got to tell you, I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys at Great Life get accomplished, because I have a feeling you're just getting started here.
I hope so. We got a good group of hardworking kids, and excited for the summer, excited about the young group of kids we have coming up. It's a lot of fun.